Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here today with a Ficus ginseng or Ficus microcarpa, one that I have created out of one of the Ficus ginseng you can usually find in box stores that I decided to repot in a little bit more interesting way, namely sideways here, leaning a little bit over the pot. That happened almost 2 months ago now already again. And it has settled in very well into its new pot. It hasn't lost basically any leaves, a lot of new growth still happening. So I thought it is a good time to still work a little bit on the shape of the tree and wire it. Because the problem I have with this tree, and you might see it a little bit from here more, is that these trunks are already extremely thick. So if we don't start to wire this now, we actually won't be able to wire this properly any longer. Even this one here is, I think, even thicker than the other one, and that is why I want to get in there today right away and try to wire it. Because the goal I have for this tree, and maybe let's look at it from both sides to show it, is to move one of these branches a little bit more in this direction, a little bit over the leaning part, to give the illusion that the tree fell and still survived and there is a lot of new growth happening still, and this one is still growing a little bit upwards, while this one I might want to move a little bit more downwards then. I think that could give quite a nice look on this tree. Here this branch is sticking out a little bit, so we might even go into pruning a little bit, but for the beginning I would like to wire this in a way that I think fits for the tree. I have 2mm wire here right now. Let's see if this is thick enough. I think if we wire very narrow, it should be thick enough. And otherwise we have to switch to other wire. But I would say let's give it a try. Because we also don't really have that much space on the tree itself to go into wiring, so we need to make the most out of the space that we have. So let me see, I'll probably go once around here. So I'm just trying to make this as narrow as possible with, in addition of course, also trying to not damage any of the foliage. So this will be very narrow around this tree. And just up to a certain point here where we just can give it a little bit of direction. So up to here is enough. I don't need to go really into the intricate foliage up here, because for now we just want to move it in a certain direction. We don't really want to already look at wiring any secondary, tertiary branches here. It is just giving this tree an initial shape to begin with. And for that, we just need to get in here somehow. There's a lot of branches up here that we might even have to remove at one point, because it comes from very low on the tree here. Same with this one here, very difficult to move around. I think we actually take this out, clear out this tree a little bit. It is very dense, as we have not worked on this in any shape or form up to this point. So I think we're going around here, I would say. Because this was anyway also a little branch that I wasn't too happy with. Let's turn this around. I think I can reach this better from here. Going one more time around here under the foliage. And then still making our way around here. So let's see if now from this side we can bend it and if it stays. And it does. It more or less does. Now how crazy do we want to go with this? I would say not too much. So let me see if we bend this a little bit further down here, of course without breaking. So just growing it a little bit over the top here, and I think we especially focus on how it looks from this side and what we can do with these branches here, because we can do this a little bit upwards here, for example. So create a little illusion of a little side branch here that goes a little bit to this side. And then we have this little difference in between here. So the one growing a little bit outwards, also in the future continuing to grow outwards here, and this at the same time staying nice to this side. So this is more like the old foliage when the tree fell, and then the new foliage there. This one here is still sticking out a little bit. I think I want to also move this a little bit out to the side. Yeah, I think I want to move this still. And we have this very thick branch here as well that we can move a little bit down. And here this growth that comes very low, so we also take this out. So this in the way. And if we move this out and this a little bit more, then down here maybe. But that would mean also we have to still wire this a little bit out. So let's do that. Again, estimating how much wire we're going to need. And we get working. So, this is probably even the best if we go once around here, into here again. So feeding this very narrowly down here, just creating a little bit of a loop here around the tree that will give us hopefully some stability. And then we make our way up here. And here we now really have more of the problem that there is just so much more foliage on here than on the other branch before. That going in narrow is a bit more difficult but doable. It is doable, but some of the foliage we have to sacrifice, unfortunately. But as I said, this is a very vigorous tree with a lot of growth, so in the end, the foliage will come back and the tree will benefit from the shape we actually give it. So this was this, and now we have to see how we best can fit into this other branch here without crossing wires preferably. So we simply go up here like this. So we go up and make our way around here. And at least here we don't have that much foliage. So we can make a nice tight wiring here. A bit up, and then maybe to this side branch and use this as a little hook. So, and now to bending, we said we want to bend this one also a little bit down. To open this up, and this probably a little bit more into the back here. Let's see that this won't cross too much from all different sides. So even from here, it opens it up. And here we might even still try to bend this a little bit more down. I don't want it to look too straight, but I think especially with the foliage then coming from here, we can get some movement in here, because it is already too thick, of course, to really bring in some movement at this point. And then we have it from here looking like this. This one is a little bit too in parallel still. I want to bring some movement in here. Maybe we also move it a little bit upwards, but in another direction. But just giving it some movement, so it doesn't stick out straight here. And it also hides and fits nicely in here, then really creating this little different branch. Because here this in the future could really nicely develop up here, then still giving a very, very interesting look, a very unusual look. But then especially with this huge root ball here, growing then really a leader and with a new apex up here. And this could all look like a little side pad in the future. So imagine this being simply a side pad of a tree that is way higher up here with this branch. I think for that, we set up the tree nicely. See if we still need to bend this or if we even have to apply more wire. But for now, it seems it stays in shape and in form here. The foliage growth also is pointing in directions that I think make sense. So the only thing we can do is basically wait over the next couple of months how this will adjust. If this will continue as the leader, I will try to, of course, stunt the growth here a little bit, make sure we keep this nice and tidily pruned. and let this one grow a little bit wilder, a little bit thicker, still a little bit stronger. And this way really change the shape of the tree once more and really working on a tree that in 2-3 years could look completely different again, with a lot of growth, a lot of health, and of course a lot of good care up until to that point. But I think we can achieve that. So I'll keep you updated on this tree. I think it is some interesting project still ahead regarding this tree. Make sure I will let you know when the time has come and when we continue with this tree. If you have any questions or any ideas, feel free to leave them in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like. And if you enjoy this channel, of course, feel free to subscribe to it. Hopefully we'll see you in the next video then. Until then, take care.